All right, let's see if we can get this going. There we go. So if you want me to look at your playing, or if you have any question, just send it to the address on screen. Don't you have a job, Cornelius? It's hey Lewis. It's what's it called? Neural DSP. I think Cornelius is as well. God damn, guys. That's like one step removed from watching porn at work. No, but it's Neural DSP and it's the archetype Petrucci. Oh, good job. Leg day for me today as well. I really don't like leg day. I don't think anyone likes leg day. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you're Finnish, so sauna every day, right? How do you go about using your different modes and scales, some connecting them and using them creatively, some more awesome? Thank you. Well, when I started out playing, I actually started learning the major scale first, and I had this book that had a backing track, which basically was C, F, G, and I was, you know, playing the major scale and like sounded like absolute shit. But then I realized like on certain chords it sounded really bad, which I didn't realize why that was, but it's because these half steps, they kind of screw with, they sound really good on certain chords, and on other chords, so in the major scale, for example, any chord that it has the third of the key in it, so E in this case, will sound really bad over any chord that has the fourth or F in it. So because you get this half step trouble spot. Anyway, so then I tried learning a pentatonic scale, and then I'm like, oh, every note sounded okay when I landed on it. And then basically I learned all the pentatonic, well, boxes, and then I would, you know, learn the modes. but my point here with my rambling is that it's important to learn it all over the fretboard, and then you also need to know where your root note is, right? So I learned that like most people, I guess, like, oh, A minor, play that, you know, in all positions, and then connect it over the fretboard, and then realizing like, oh, that's also the same notes as F Lydian and G Mixolydian and D Dorian and so on. But phrases that you kind of used to play in A Aeolian might not sound great in, for example, E Phrygian. It's not a... I find it's a cool note, but it's not a very pleasant one to like just land on. You can do that, for example, if you're over there. But it's not as so that, you know, when you're A minor, you can really hang on it because it's a chord tone. So, and then I've done the same process with everything else, right? So really understanding what I'm doing from the standpoint of where my root note is. So when I'm in, you know, C Lydian, for example, I can visualize every interval from here, right? So I have the second, third, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, and so on. I can see that this direction, and if I go here, I can see it like this as well. So I know I have the sharp 4 here, for example, and I also know what that sounds like. And then when I'm here, I can find the same thing, right? So that was a 7, and then we have the sharp 4, and so on. So it makes it way easier to navigate when you have one note that everything revolves around, because that's how we hear music anyway. And, you know, these 7 shapes, a lot of people go through life, as did I, like, oh, here's a Mixolydian shape. But that's only true if you're in, you see this note as a root note. This is just as much Aeolian shape, starting on the flat 7. So anyway, so, and then it's all about, you know, learning them to the point where it's not positions anymore. I mean, I still see a position, but I'm not stuck in any one. And the best way I've found to do that is just work on scales. Do that on every string. You know, and so on. And then, not necessarily that sequence, but being able to see them this way and then that way, and then you can start putting everything together. And there's tons of, you know, steps you can do to make this easier. Yeah. All right. Question regarding the full Ghibli. How do you bring it up to speed? My timing goes totally off when I bring it. Do you mean that one? So I'm awaiting your reply here when it is. Oh my god, these fucking YouTube names, man. Or whatever, something. Hi John, I'm about halfway through learning Hangar 18. I'm really liking dividing those Friedman. Yeah, but Friedman is, I've never been like super impressed with his technique, but his phrasing is like next level. And you hear that it's him right away. And also, I'm not saying that I don't think his technique is good, but it's not, that's never been like the thing, you know, for him. Or for me. I mean, he's certainly a very good guitar player, however you look at it. But, you know, this thing's not going to make your life easy. And, I mean, yeah, I think you know what I mean. But I love his phrasing, for sure. And, I mean, he has some hairy stuff as well with these, like, what's that one that everyone wants to play? Tornado of Souls thing. Let's see. I see, so you're learning the intervals in relation to the root. The modes are built from the major scale and becoming comfortable. Yeah, so basically you don't want to be like, yeah, I kind of know the major scale, and then, yeah, I'm gonna go in and learn the Hungarian major now. It's like, no, don't do that, because it's not gonna make any sense. So I would learn I would learn the major scale first because that's the ruler of music, and not as a king, but as a measuring stick. Because if I tell a student like, oh, okay, Billy, I actually never had a Billy, but anyway, all right, Billy, play the major scale. Now raise the fourth, and if he doesn't know where the fourth is, he's not going to be able to raise it, right? So if you don't know where the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is in relationship to what you're doing, it's going to be kind of tricky. And I think that's where it gets patchy for people. Because when we start playing guitar, it's not like violin or piano or like the classical schooling thing where you have everything in a certain order for a reason. You know, you can start anywhere on the guitar. So, and that's cool, but it's also quite difficult to not have gaps in your knowledge. Okay, I would say for this one, I think it's, if you practice it with the looping practice technique, and also do you find that it's specifically outside picking or inside picking as well? Meaning that you do, or both as difficult? 5 shapes to the major scale, right? No, that's well, I mean, yes. So when I went to GIT, they taught the cage system, right? And some people love it. Some really great people love it. I don't love it at all because I think it doesn't make sense to me to have 5 positions for a scale that has 7 notes. It makes perfect sense to have 5 positions for a pentatonic scale because it has 5 notes. But a 7-note scale should really have 7 positions. Even if that makes me sound extremely autistic, but it just makes more sense to me. And the purpose of learning these, shapes is to be able to see them all over the fretboard at some point anyway. So you shouldn't really be like, oh shit, I'm in the position, the E position of the cage system here. Who cares? You should just be able to see it. So, and I went through that because at GIT you had to do that and you had tests on it and all that stuff. But I never really liked them because even though they're good for the fretting hand because you have 1 finger per fret, it's kind of a weird one for the right hand because you have 2 notes, 3, 2, and 2 here, right? So I think it's more uniform and also you cover everything more thoroughly when you do 3 notes per string. So I think the best way is to learn 3 notes per string. You can learn the other positions as well because you should be able to do that. But then just know that the ultimate goal is not to be like, oh, I'm a 3 note per string player. Oh, I'm a cage system player. That shouldn't come into it. That's just stepping stones to get to the goal of see the fretboard. That's why I really like Frank Gambale's approach. Like you learn the fretboard. And also you can stay a long time in one key, right? Frank Gambale's advice was to on guitar, you don't necessarily need to do all 12 keys because the shapes are the shapes. So if you learn D Dorian, for example, and you see everything from that perspective, then if you have a piece of paper here and you put holes everywhere where the frets are, if you want to do E Dorian, you basically just move the paper up 2 frets. And then of course you need to add whatever went out here over here. But so once you can do D Dorian really well, you can do A Dorian, maybe C Dorian, G Dorian, whatever. At a certain point, you just start seeing oh, it's the same thing, it's just 1 fret off. So that will also make it easier to not feel overwhelmed. Outside only, okay. Well, I'm guessing this is the problem, right? I guess you can do the, right? but then when you go back, that's the issue. I would still try doing the looping thing, so you go, then you start the next loop on the upstroke, so you keep the picking intact. Don't do that. So you do basically have 6 variations here, and that's really helpful for the timing of it. And another thing that's great is if you have 6 notes here, like if you normally you would think like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. But if you think in groups of 5 instead, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. You get that moving accent throughout, and that can help you see when you get uneven. Yeah. And then apart from that, do speed bursts like this, and if you find that works, and then you just build it for another rep as well. So do it from different areas. Wesley, do you have an opinion when to apply tritones? Sean Lane was apply it when you want to use it. You know, I'm not. It's just a sound, or it's a cool sound. But other than that, I don't really understand what you mean by applying tritones. Inside is okay, just ends up sounding sloppy in a classical unsynchronized sense when I go above 160 BPM 60 test. Yeah, so I would try doing that. But I mean, if you have issue with inside as well, I would definitely, then you can just do this. What I'm doing here, I'm starting on every note of the loop. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. So we have 6 starting points. A lot of people, and I see this with students all the time, they do this one, then do the next one, then the next one, and then they do this one. And they're like, I'm done. You're not done. You have this one as well. And then this one. Because the loop isn't just that, right? It's 6 notes, so it's easier to think of it like that. So you can think of going from 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4, 5 to 5, 6 to 6. And you know, you can sit, you know, do a minute for each one, and that will help you a lot with because then every other one you work on inside picking, every other one you work on outside picking. Exactly, but also when you try this, do the planting thing. It's really helpful so you can basically do that. Maybe you do 2 reps or 2 to 4 reps of the planting. And the purpose here is not to like dig in. You just want to get a quick. And when you go from planting to normal, try to keep the picking as close as possible as the planting thing. That's really helpful. Hey James, here's a probably boring question you have like answered a million times. What picks are you using right now? What can you tell us about how you optimize your group for various techniques? I use these picks. They're from a company called Mathis Guitars in Las Vegas, and he sends me a bunch of picks a few times per year. And I always say this: if I didn't like them, I would just buy my own picks. It's not a big expense, but I really like them, so it's cool. And they're like a slightly bigger version of the Jazz 3 pick, which I used to use a lot. But I also like, I must say, I like these. I found these in a guitar store. Paul Gilbert. Never heard of him, but good picks. And as far as the grip, I just do this. I try to have as much surface here as possible, and then the thumb over. So I avoid doing this, or like that, or whatever. So that's normally, so I basically make it so it's like the larger stem of an L here, and then the shorter one. And I don't grip it any differently depending on the technique, because that would be a very annoying thing to do, because I don't want to have to go like, right, I'm gonna pick now. Oh, I'm gonna sweep now, and then I have to change everything, and then oh, I need to do hybrid picking. If you know what I mean? So it's I try to have one grip to rule them all, or whatever you want to say. Hi Chris, how would you teach major and minor arpeggios? I kind of know the shapes, but when the chord changes I get lost. You have an exercise for say 4 chord with sweep picking. Yeah, you want to find, like, let's say we take a very classic progression like that, right? So we have A minor, and you start with one thing, right? So, and then we went to F, then G, then E. So, and then you want to do that in every position, so you go up here. And you want to do something that's called good voice leading, meaning that you want to go to the closest voice. And voice just means the closest chord tone. Because if I do this, right, I take this arpeggio. I could also go to F in the same shape. That would be over here. And then I would go to G, same shape. And E, same shape. And it sounds alright, because we're so used to like crappy voice leading, but it's not as smooth as if you go just, in this case, the only note that's different from A minor and F is that we raise the E note to F. Right, so that's the type of thing you want to go through. And whenever you learn something like that, if you learn like a good voice leading one here, then you can just move everything up a shape. So I think a good thing to start with first is to learn the shapes. So you have like A minor, and that's the only 3 you have for 5-string arpeggios, if you keep the notes per string intact, right? Because 2 notes, 1, 1, 1, 2 notes. If you change that, then you get 3 new shapes. But if you keep the shapes intact, that's the only thing you have. So that's the best way to organize it, I think, and take your time with it. Yeah, Mr. Big is here. I love Paul Gilbert. It's amazing. You're welcome. Yeah, Curse of the Castle Dragon is great. He has so many good ones, and he seems to be such a nice guy as well. But I don't like his direction the last few years, which doesn't mean anything because it's just my opinion. But I really like Paul Gilbert in like Paul Gilbert, classic Paul Gilbert mode. But I get also that he wants to, do other stuff. Good questions today, and also you see it on the screen already, but go check out or send an email if you have a clip that you want to share. I know that's kind of, can be nerve-wracking, but I'm gonna be nice, I promise. Any more questions today? Hey Mineral Sim, why is it easier for me to do ascending triplets on one string like that, but descending feels so much more difficult? It's because if I do this, right? If I go, so I do all hammer-ons here. That's why I'm doing this, so I don't have to think about muting. So I just go. Whatever I'm doing, once I leave this finger, I can do whatever I want here. Nothing's gonna affect it. But when you go from right to left, if you don't get the pinky, in this case, out of the way exactly when you put the next finger down, you're gonna get a, weak note, a thud, or just a noise. So, and you might think like, wow, I'm talking about picking. Well, the same thing goes when you pick, right? So you have a bit more leeway here. I mean, your sync won't be perfect if you get the timing wrong when you go from left to right, when you pick either. But it's even more crucial that you get the timing right when you, what the hell do you do? To get the timing right when you go backwards like this. Because when you pick the note, if you don't get the finger out of the way and down exactly on point, and you sync that up with the pick, it's not gonna work. So a lot of people have trouble doing stuff like that. So, and then they blame the pick hand. It's like, there's something wrong with my pick hand when I go down. It can be that as well, but that you can test that quite easily. If you can do like, if you can do that, something similar here to the picking. I'm basically going down 6 notes, restarting, and I did that with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you can do that, then you know that whatever issues you have with something descending like that is going to be due to your fretting hand not behaving. So that's why it's important to work on legato, even if you're really like a hardcore picker type of guy, which I was. I was like, the picking is harder, so that must be better. It's my 13-year-old stupid self. So I had a guitar teacher. We went through some Robin Ford stuff, and it was something like that. And I was like, he was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm picking it. Why? Because you're supposed to. Like, no, dumbass. It's a different sound. It's like, oh, okay. So, yeah. but it's an important thing to really get together when it comes to the left hand. I mean, Tom Quayle, who's, you know, his whole style is this amazing legato, but I've seen him do similar picking things like I did here, and he can do that fine. And you know, because he is also practiced picking way back, but I think the fact that his timing in the left hand is so good that he can, when it's like set patterns like that, he can get through it as well. So just goes to show you how important it is to work on that. Well, you can do that, or you can join the 8-week legato intensive. We're currently on week 2, but people join. We had the 8-week alternate picking intensive a few weeks ago that ended, and we had people joining as late as week 7. So the program is the program, so you just go through that, and you just will be, you know, before or behind some other guys, but that doesn't really matter. So there you have a link to my community where that is hosted. So it's an hour per day, and we go through all hammers, like we talked about here, and also different legato exercises. So an hour a day for 8 weeks will make a massive difference if you practice correctly. So. It's good, you used to being behind. Sorry, Luis, how would you recommend starting to learn sweep picking? Very slowly. First of all, you want to do, well, you can also get the sweep picking deep dive. That's part of the community as well. It's a 30-minute daily routine. But what's important when it comes to sweep picking is that you get the picking hand correct first, and that's fairly easy. So basically, just start like this. Put the pick on your lowest string, and then let it fall, and get that. You don't want to have. You want to have like separate. And then you do the same thing in the opposite direction. And then you try to combine them. At first, it's going to be like, but then you want to get it more continuous. And you just experiment like until you can find what, you know, works fairly well. And as you can see in my hand here, my pick is slanting automatically. And when I slow it down, what happens here, I don't go. Instead, you let the pick fall from string to string. And as you can see here, you will never need to sweep this fast in any song, most likely. So, and anyone can get this going, you know, just sitting around 5-10 minutes experimenting. And it might not look exactly the way that I do it, because you want it to be connected to however you pick normally, right? But then you need to find, you need to keep that technique when you add the left hand or the fretting hand. So if I add something like, what happens a lot with students is that they do this, then when they add the left hand, whatever they add, they're like, oh. And they're like, oh, it doesn't work. Like, yeah, because you're doing it wrong. So you need to be really take care to get the synchronization right between the two hands. My wife loves when I do that. No, she doesn't. But that's the thing. So the problem with sweep picking is not necessarily speed, it's more coordination, because you can already do at least the right hand part, and then the left hand part is more about really getting the timing right. And yeah, so I mean, obviously it's easy to say like, yeah, so you pick in this direction, and then you pick in this direction, And you're like, okay, that's easy. Now just do it. That, you know, from that starting point, it's gonna be a shit ton of reps. At like this type of tempo, and it probably even slower initially, like, because you want to get everything right. Because you're programming your technique. You're not brute forcing it. You can't be like, yeah, let's do this enough, it will be clean. It won't. Nothing works like that. So don't do that to yourself. So you need to like chill and realize you're not gonna learn sweep picking in a day. Hi Ryan. Hey Fernando. So despite what some people will say, like, in 30 days you will... No, you won't. I haven't checked that out. I need to check that out. I love Kotzen, but I think, you know, for me, Mr. Big needs to be Paul Gilbert. But that Burn thing is probably awesome because they're all great musicians. So. Yeah, so I have two school communities. So I have the normal practice room free, which has over 1,000 members, and then inside there you have an option to upgrade. You already have, you know, the alternate picking deep dive and a lot of free stuff there, and the community, which is the cool part. But then you also have these intensives that we're doing now, and then you can upgrade to premium for that. And then I have the Practice Room Pro, where I basically help you, holding your hand every step of the way. So it's still in the community. So you have your own practice thread where you keep all the correspondence there with, you know, videos. Exactly, it looks exactly like this, except you don't have the banner at the bottom. So I reply with video or text, whatever is easiest whenever you have an issue. But we start first with a call, and so we can build your 12-week practice routine. So I've started doing 12-week sections now, so we can have a really, you know, clear focus. And then also newly added is that you get one 30-minute one-on-one lesson as well. And I found that really helps a lot. So it's like the perfect sweet spot between having weekly lessons and, you know, no support in between, or like no lesson at all and we just do video correspondence. Both work, but I think this works the best because the whole purpose of taking lessons should be to sit down and do the work, because otherwise it's kind of like going to a personal trainer and being like, yeah, so what do I do? Like, oh, here's how you do a deadlift, and then you want to do this and you want to do that, and then you don't do it, or you just do it when you meet the personal trainer, and that's usually not enough for most people to see real progress. So the whole system there is made so you don't have any excuses not to sit down and do the work, because if you have any issues, you can just send a message in your thread, and I'll reply very quickly most of the time. So that's the purpose of the whole thing. Ryan knows. Hey, Blazing Pie. Oh my god. For the paid one, you can check if you want as well. For the premium one in the first the free community, it's $49, but then you get all the courses in there as well. And in the Practice Room Pro is $197 per month, but again, then you get one private lesson, 30 minutes per month, and you get all the other stuff, my one-to-one attention, so I can help you along the way. And you also get access to all my courses then from Teachable and all the exclusive stuff that I have on the school platform. But it's not like you sign up and I just, you know, oh yeah, here's all the courses, good luck. I'm using all the courses to help you. So if you have a problem with you know, pentatonic picking, then I can pick exercises from my different courses because I have a shit ton of stuff and build a practice routine for you. And the cool thing about that is that then you will have the, you know, the tabs, you have the guitar profiles, you have a video explanation for everything, and if you have any questions, you just can ask me directly. So I love it. I think it's a great system. So. Let's see. So you have the link to the free community in the description of this stream, and then you have the pro here. The only problem with pro right now is that I can only take on so many students because, you know, even at one private lesson per month, it becomes quite crowded. Yeah, and also the Practice Room Pro, you have a free week, so you can just sign up right away. And now I got a membership request from Fernando here, and I'm gonna say yes. So for the free group, I need to approve everyone, because as you can imagine, when some marketers see like, oh, over 1,000 people, oh, the group is free, they try to join and, you know, try to sell you a timeshare in Phoenix or something. And I don't want that shit, so. How to get your not free content? You go to the classroom, Fernando, and then you see the courses that have like a lock icon on them. You click that, and then you can choose either to buy it outright, and then you will just keep it forever, or you just go for premium. And premium is, you know, I think it's the better choice because it is cheaper because you get everything in there. So. And for the free stuff you just see, then you can just go straight in. So. No, no, you need to go to the classroom. Yeah, so you exactly. You go. You need to. If you look at the top, Fernando, you see that you have community, and then the next tab is classroom. And in the classroom, you can see all the different courses. Lewis Potter. Manchester. Is that true? Michael Bisping. One of my favorite fighters. Also, you can probably go straight here as well. Sorry. 1 second. Yeah, I think at school it doesn't really get it perfect. My wife actually went to University of Nottingham. She's a Brit. She's lived in Sweden now for a while. Well, it's even smaller world. Before I met her, I had a student from Maidstone, or as my wife calls it, a shithole. And she grew up in Maidstone. She was born in London, then they lived in Maidstone for a while, and then they moved to Kent, Tunbridge Wells, or Royal Tunbridge Wells. But so it was kind of weird to have a student that actually was from her hometown. No, that's me. That's a lot of like pretty much all the music I wrote for not Spotify, Epidemic Sound, the music library. And they renamed a lot of the songs. So when you see like Fairies on a Walk or something, that's not my title. I got a pitch like, oh, make music in this type of thing that's gonna work for this, and then they came up with a title, and then I would just call it blah 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 1, blah 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 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they would rename it afterwards. So, but that's me. Thank you. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's that I'm not super fond of, but it's also some stuff that I really like, because I went all in. So for almost 10 years I did only that. I didn't practice guitar at all. I just did that. So, but 700 tracks over like 9 years that I worked for them. But it's cool. I've heard my music like everywhere, which is kind of weird, but also cool. That's why it's fun when people are like, oh, could you try writing music or something, just sitting here and wanking? It's like, okay. Hey, Vinny! I have your lesson ready today, by the way. So I haven't forgotten about you. Mason is a festival. It's not bad. It's awesome. I've been all over England and Scotland with the band. I was starting a new one for you. Yeah, but that's cool. I mean, it's just my wife just says Mason was a bit of a shithole, at least when she lived there. But my student wasn't that crazy about it either. So. Yeah, I got that right then. Isn't Beard meets food from Nottingham? Did I get that wrong? Maybe it was Leeds. I don't remember. Or that dude that likes to eat a lot of stuff. He's a huge YouTuber. It's kind of crazy, you know. You work and you put out lessons and stuff, and then you see this guy go to a restaurant and like orders the whatever food challenge they have, and then he just gulps it down in like crazy record time, and within like less than 24 hours he has like 6 million views or something. You're like, fucking hell. But you know, it is what it is. But he seems to be he's quite a funny dude, and it's just such a weird way to make a living, right? Competitive eating. Yeah, check it out. You have a lot of stuff there. So. Yeah, I saw Fernando. Awesome. I suggest you get on one of the intensives. So what are you working on right now? Awesome. Yeah, so we're in week 2 now, but don't worry about that. Just do your thing, and then actually there's gonna be a live today in the community, 5 o'clock. I mean, Spain time is the same, right? It's 1 o'clock here now, so in 4 hours. And if you have any questions, just put it in the thread, and then I'll reply and help you out. But you know. So the only thing you miss really if you start late is that you're not gonna be able to do all the live streams, but you know, most people don't give a shit anyway, because I try to explain everything as carefully as possible anyway, so you don't need them. And you can always see the replays afterwards, so. Yes, Louis, exactly. So we're, you know, alternate picking, deep dive, not deep dive, intensive. So you have a, and we have the legato one that's currently going on, and then we're going to do a sweep picking one, and then we're going to go back to alternate picking and expand on that. So basically it's 8 weeks, hour per day, and you're going to need to use a timer somehow. Basically, it's divided into 3 sections for both the alternate picking and legato. So the alternate picking, for example, we had single string, 2 string, and multi-string. And within those sections, you have 4 different 5-minute exercises. And then every week, we change those exercises. So you kind of get that ongoing thing. Because there's a lot of stuff to cover. So, yeah, Orion has been part for a long time, and he knows as well that there's no assholes in there. And if there would be any assholes, they would get kicked out before they can blink. So I'm not accepting any douchebags. It's just nice to have a place where there's no algorithm, there's no, you know, fucking ads everywhere. It's just a space. And also definitely download the app for your phone, because you have, it works exactly the same way as the desktop thing. So. And yeah, so the legato one is divided into all hammers, which is very important to get the right feel in the fretting hand and also get the timing correct. And then it's 2 string and also multi-string. So, and I find having these sections make the 60 minutes go much quicker, because it's not just this like, oh, here's 12 things to do. You get a block of 4, a block of 4, a block of 4. So. Yeah, and the thing is, I do this with everyone as well, because I'm a, you know, week or so ahead. So because I need to make sure that at the tempo ranges, that at the slowest tempo range, you still have time to do the exercise. So that's really important. But since it's time based, where you use 5-minute chunks, it's very easy to do like, okay, I have 20 minutes to do before work, you do that, and then it's much easier to get into it when you get back to work. So the only thing you need to do is that you do that day's practice. So the big thing about these 8-week intensives, you will make a lot of progress, but you won't go from like, if you barely can pick, you won't be like Paul Gilbert in 8 weeks, but you will have a significant improvement from wherever you started if you follow the way that I suggest that you practice. And then you learn how to practice more effectively as well, because a lot of people waste time when they practice. They just sit there and, you know, oh, I guess I do this, and oh, I guess I do that. Now you have a structured thing, and it's also easier to get shit done when you know, like, okay, it's 8 weeks, let's just push through here, because you have days when like you have less time and you have to be more on point, or you have like a dip in motivation or whatever. But if you can be like, okay, I'm just gonna start, and then before you know it, you're halfway through, and then you will just smash it. And in both intensive, you have a separate thread where you have like the daily accountability check-in thing, and that's optional. You know, I think most people actually did it in the alternate picking one, and it seemed to be like a lot of people doing it in the legato as well. And a lot of people said that makes a big difference for them, because they can see like everyone is doing the same thing, even though you might be a few days ahead of someone or a few days behind. Doesn't really matter. So basically what you do is check in, like, okay, week 1, day 3 completed, and then, you know, that's done. So it's I think it's, I really like it, and it seems to do what I want people to do, meaning start actually do the practicing, because you can sit there and be like, well, maybe I should do this exercise instead, or maybe I should, no, just do this, And then when you're done with that, you do whatever you want. Then you've done like a big chunk of your technique practice. So, and it makes a big difference actually to have other people doing it as well. So. Alright, I'm about done for today, but thanks for all the great questions. And if you have any specific ones, I actually might put this into the school group as well, so I can collect questions there before the streams. Might do that. But anyway, really cool to have you in the school community, Luis and Fernando, as new members, of course. I know that Vincent here is already a member of Pro, and then Ryan is a member already of the free one. So it's cool to see you guys over here as well. So with that, I'm gonna